Hello, this is Anna at Nautilus Yacht Management and welcome to the beautiful Naui Marina in Savu, Fiji. We're about to step on board CALISTA, a beautiful Leopard 46 owner's version. This boat has sailed over from the US with her current owners. Amazingly, as it's very rare for Leopard catamarans, she was never chartered and was always privately owned. She is exceptionally well fitted out for liveaboard and world cruising. You'll see through this presentation all of the upgrades that were made on this boat to make her more safe, more comfortable and more luxurious on the water. Welcome on board CALISTA. For any questions, please get in touch with our team at Nautilus Yacht Management. But let's go and meet with her owners, Pat and Peggy. Welcome aboard.
Hello, I'm Pat.
And I'm Peggy. And we want to tell you a little bit about CALISTA and why she's so special to us. When we started looking for a boat, we wanted to find something that was a nice balance between comfort and sailing performance, and of course at the right price point. We zeroed in pretty quickly on the Leopard 46 because we thought that had the right mix for us. We found CALISTA, and that proved to be just the case with her. She's been incredibly comfortable, easy to live on, to cook on, just to relax on and have guests, and of course get from one place to the other. She does pretty well.
Yeah, we sailed a number of different boats, different models, different brands, different sizes, and tried things like, how well does this boat go upwind? How well does it go downwind? What about the livability features? And as Peggy was saying, this really ended up being the perfect balance for us. When we want to go fast, we can go fast. When we want to just kick back and enjoy a nice, easy ride, we can do that as well. Some of the things we really liked about it, as you'll see in some of the later videos, this is a 3-cabin owner's version, and the entire starboard hull is dedicated to our suite, and that's the kind of space we want. It's really comfortable there. The salon itself, large and spacious. The cockpit, we can entertain 10, 12, 15 people there, and it's been just a really great place for us to be. We've had numerous times, we've had friends and family on for a week or more, various times, and there was plenty of space to accommodate that as well. About maintenance, I do most of the maintenance myself. We've done a haul out almost every year, usually adding bottom paint, maybe changing the sail drive seals, things like that. And been very happy with our experiences in the boatyards in general. And the maintenance on electrical and plumbing, that sort of thing, I do all myself. And I spend a lot of time doing that, and I'm very proud of how well we've maintained the boat, and really feel like it's been just a dream come true for us. We spent a lot of time in Mexico and in the South Pacific and seeing things that we really talked about and dreamt about and really wanted to see together and share together, and this has been just the perfect platform for us. But now we're getting older, and we're looking at going off into a new phase of our life and doing other things, still continuing to travel, but we think that CALISTA will be just a perfect platform, perfect dream come true, a perfect home on the water for another family, and we just hope it brings as much joy and happiness as we've experienced on CALISTA. Okay, let's look at the cockpit for CALISTA. This is a very large space. We spend a lot of time here. Many, if not most, of our meals here, morning coffee, lunches, dinners, and we have people over for sundowners. As you might have noticed in looking at some of the still pictures, we can easily fit 10, 12, 15 people here for a party, which we've done a number of times. It can be a lot of fun. Some of the special features: we've got an automatic ice maker, which was replaced in 2022. We have a cockpit refrigerator. There are cushions all around, and these are custom sunshades We have custom sunshades that roll down. We put these down in different combinations depending on where the sun is, where the wind is coming from. Often we'll keep them all up. If weather gets really bad, we can put them all down and button this place up pretty nice, and it keeps a lot of the wind and rain out, can make it a much more livable space. Some other interesting features: this seat rest is useful for people sitting at the table, or you can turn it around and sit looking back at the sunset, having drinks here or whatever you feel like. Then we have storage, quite a bit of storage underneath here. I keep lines and grease and other things like that. Under here we have 2 propane tanks, and these are used for the stove and the oven inside the galley, as well as the barbecue, which is something that we added here as well, our large rectangular Dickinson barbecue. The stainless steel here, we added some custom pieces of this so that we could hang the life raft on it, because we really didn't like where the life raft was before. It was sort of wedged underneath here, and that just didn't work for us. This is a really unusual feature. This part here can be laid down and we usually keep it like this on a passage when we want to make sure that waves don't come in here and following waves. Sometimes we'll tie a number of jerry cans across here, and it's useful for storage for that, or just as a bench seat when we want to sit someplace. We have additional storage over here, and as you can see, a very large table for having meals and entertaining. Over here we have more storage. We keep fins and water toys, that sort of thing here. This is another interesting feature. This is our shore power inlets, and I've upgraded these both to smart plugs that have much better contact and much less corrosion problems than the plugs that it came with. Also, this one here is a standard US style 120 volt 60 hertz. This one here is connected to some Victron devices that can take any input from 45 hertz up to 90 hertz, and from 90 volts up to 270 volts. So you can plug it in the US, you can plug it in French Polynesia, in Europe, wherever. So that's a very nice feature to have when you're traveling international. Then we also have a deck shower, and this is interesting because we've put an extra long hose on it. And it just keeps on coming out. So it's very, very long. We'll reach all the way over to the scoop on the other side. And we use this a lot. We spend a lot of time in the water. We love going snorkeling, going right off the back of the boat, and coming back here and taking off our fins here and rinsing them and all that. So another great feature that we really like. Okay, finishing up the cockpit. First, we want to talk about the flooring here. The flooring we added, it's a permateak, and the colors you see go solid all the way through. It's been really, really nice. The old white fiberglass non-skid was just impossible to keep clean. This has a great feel on the feet, whether it's wet or dry, has great traction. And as you see, we did it up the steps going to the side and all the way down the scoops. Some more, we already talked about some custom stainless steel work to have the life raft. We have a custom stainless steel arch for the solar panels, and I added a hoist over here for pulling up the dinghy engine. And we store some long thin things, kayak paddles and brooms and that sort of thing underneath it. And I talked a little bit earlier about this very unique feature. I'll show you how it works. You'll put it down to use it as a swim platform now. So first, put this down. And after tying this down, you'll need this for lowering it safely. So this is a great platform. Sit here, put your feet in the water, and jump in and play with. We strung some noodles back here. It's a very nice place for entertaining and hanging out in the water. As you see, one person put it down. It does usually take two people to bring it up. Okay, I'm going to try filming the Helm. It's a pretty windy day, so the sound may not come out well. We'll see. Let's take a look at CALISTA's Helm. It's a sport helm or half-up helm. As you can see, it's got really good visibility. You can see all corners of the boat. See the aft port corner. You look down here. There's also a window looking up so you can trim the mainsail, see what it's doing. Here we have the V&G equipment, a Zeus 3 touchscreen chart plotter. We have lots of functionality with this. I have it in a split screen right now, which shows a number of instrumentation numbers over here. We like to look at the wind angle and speed over the last half hour or hour, depending on what we're doing. And then I've got this the chart plotter on the Vapu group in Tonga, which is where we're at right now. Then we have a separate autopilot control over here. This can also be used to control the autopilot. This all, of course, links up with the V&G nav equipment that's at the nav table inside, where we have a separate Zeus 3 12-inch touchscreen chart plotter. Then we have two Lumar 54 electric winches, starboard and port side. They both have foot switches down here. Just use your toe to flip up the cover and actuate it that way. The throttle controls, starboard and port right here. Instrumentation for the engines down here. You see we also have a fuel transfer switch, so that if you were to use more fuel in the port side, which is the fuel tank that the generator takes out of, you can transfer from the starboard tank into the port fuel tank. Up here we have the clutches for our lines. Now CALISTA has an in-boom furling mainsail. So this is the furler. This is the boom vang control. Boom vang is very important for the in-boom furler. Then we have our jib sheet over here. Now I added an additional clutch for the downwind jib sheet. We didn't have one initially for our code 0 or asymmetric. And while we had this block, the line would have to always sit on the winch when we're using it, which was a problem if you ever wanted to adjust the mainsail, because the main sheet also comes to this same winch. So I felt it was important to put in an extra clutch for the downwind sheets. Did the same thing, something similar over on the starboard side, where I added a new clutch here, had to build up this area here because it was sloping off, it wouldn't have been at the right angle, and put a block here which feeds the line. We unzip this and it feeds to a specially reinforced pad eye on the back there, which is where the downwind sheet comes up to the winch here. One more thing I forgot to mention was we have a Furuno depth sounder that was recommended and used heavily by a previous owner who was a big sport fisher. He said it was really great for identifying what depth there were schools of fish, and of course it's always good to have redundancy in critical equipment like depth sounders. There is a depth with the V&G equipment as well. One more thing in the back. This is our traveler control. So the traveler, of course, goes across the back and controls where the main sheet block comes down. So we use these two clutches and this winch on this continuous loop line to control the traveler. The Helm also has a comfortable wide seat. We've had as many as 4 people up here, and they fit just fine. One other addition we made, the lines coming to the Helm used to sit in there was a large bag on the port side and a large bag on the starboard side, and all the lines were stuffed in there. And we didn't like that arrangement very well. Things got on top of each other, got tangled up and stuff. So we put in separate line hangers for each of the lines, and that's worked out very, very well. We've been quite happy with that as an upgrade for line handling.
Here we are in the lovely Maui Marina in Sabu Sabu, Fiji. Look at the foredeck right now. Obviously the large trampoline area. We call these the princess seats. It's a great place to sit, you know, when you're out on passage and the dolphins are diving in front, and it's just very relaxing, nice place to be. As you can see, plenty of space here, and we talk about what's in the floor deck lockers right now. In this one, first thing you notice, we've got the two water tanks. They're 103 gallons each. There's also, you can see the lighting, you probably can't see anywhere. The chain, that's where the chain ends up. We'll talk about the chain, the anchor locker and everything's right here with the anchor controls. This right here is the deck wash. So this is the off position, up for fresh water and down for salt water. Then I keep the ASIM here, and often there would be 3 fenders here. The 3 fenders right now, since we're in a marina, they're being used as fenders. This is also a hose that I use exclusively for filling our water tanks if we're going to fill them from something like a marina like we are here. Also have another 8 of the orange life jackets back there, and there is 100 feet of extra chain down there, as well as a aluminum Fortress 37 anchor that we usually use for a stern anchor with I think 150 feet of Dyneema line on that. Okay. Okay, so obviously this is the windlass here, and the chain, the anchor's right here. It's a Vulcan, a Rockna Vulcan 40 kilogram anchor with a nice swivel on it. This is the bridle. This bridle hook has been really good. We just put it on like this, knock it on briefly with this little hammer, and it stays on really well and comes off really easily. It's been flawless for us, so we've been very happy with that. The windlass has been working fine. These are the controls up and down for the windlass. Right here I have a anchor chain color code. I've painted stripes on the anchor at 25, 50, 75, all the way down to 300 feet so that I can just watch and know how much anchor has been put out at any time. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the port foredeck locker. Okay, first thing you see here, this is the Northern Lights 9 kilowatt generator. It's in a sound deadening container, and it's been working flawlessly. And I've got some tarps on top of it, a bosun's chair. Here we have 2 inflatable kayaks. Underneath that is a storm sail, an ATN gale sail that gets deployed by, it folds over the rolling jib sail, the furling jib sail. And I've raised it a couple times just to test it. Have not had to use it in an actual storm, thankfully. Underneath here, this is the Code Zero, very large head sail that has been great when we're going either with light winds, either on a beam reach or even up to, say, 50 degrees apparent wind. It's been a good sail for that. Back here we have a container for the lithium-ion house batteries. So there are 4 300 amp hour Relion lithium-ion batteries there, and there's also a spare Relion lithium-ion battery down on the floor there as well. The fuel pump Fuel filter and starter battery for the generator are here as well. Often there are also 3 fenders that we put in this. Being as we're in a marina right now, the fenders are deployed on the side of the boat. And there it is. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the rigging. This, of course, is the furling jib sail on a pro furl. It's our Genoa, and it furls up based on this line here. And I have this low friction ring just to help it feed a little more true. There's some blocks here, and we control it from back by the helm. Here we have the bowsprit or reaching pole, and this is used for deploying the asymmetrical spinnaker and for the code 0. It can be removed, so if you do go into a marina where they charge you by the foot, you can pull this back and effectively, be a Leopard 46 instead of a Leopard 52 or whatever it would be with the additional length. Hello, why don't we take a look at the 4-peak locker? This is where I keep my extra lines. We've got lots of dock lines, we've got extra bridle pieces, we've got brand new halyard over here, we've got a line for our sea anchor, there's an old halyard, old main sheets. I also keep water hoses in here, some lumber, I have a spare anchor, I have I think 7 jerry cans, large 5-gallon type, an extra fuel tank, a small gas tank, and we have a power washer as well. I think I mentioned also some lumber. There's also a light in here. That's about it for the rope blocker. Okay, let's talk some more about the rigging here. We already talked about the head sail up here. So we have an in-boom furling mainsail, and the control for that is right here. This is the furling drum. So when we pull in on this, it pulls it down. When we pull up on the halyard, that pulls it up. We have a very heavy-duty boom vang, and setting the angle for the boom using the boom vang and the topping lift is important for getting the furling right. Okay, this is the halyard for the jib. This is the halyard for our code 0 or for our asymmetrical spinnaker. We've got a winch here. We've got clutches on both of those. A winch handle with a winch handle holder here. So a winch here and another winch on the other side. Clutches for the main halyard, clutches for the topping lift. Those all feed back here, like all the lines, through these fair leads and back to the clutches and winches that are at the helm for control. There's more here. We've got a sun cover. For the sail, there's a sun cover that rolls in and out over the main part of the sail, but it doesn't keep the sun completely off of the very front of the sail, so the bolt rope could get sun damage if you didn't have the sun cover. So I had this made, nice Velcro. This here is just to keep the main halyard from slapping against the mast if the wind blows. And back here you have, of course, the car for the jib sail. Feeds in here. This is a block for feeding in the downwind sheet for the code 0 or for the ASIM, which of course comes from a block down there. And come back here, we've got the traveler here, and that's controlled by 2 clutches and a winch that is behind the helm seat. And then we have the large array of solar panels. It's about 2,100 watts of solar power, and that was all brand new in 2022. And then, of course, the Starlink satellite dish. Let's look at CALISTA's Salon. It's a very large, livable, and highly versatile space. Start over here. We've got a door that we can close off for privacy in the master's hall, main home. Got the nav table, the settee with our table here, and coming all the way across here. This is the TV and the electrical panel. So let's start talking about the electrical panel first. all of the labels here, we had them redone so that they were in English only. They were a mix of English and French. And we had repurposed some of these, so we made sure all the labels were correct. We also added these big switches. These are connected to our two shore power inputs. This one here is unique in that it can take any voltage from 90 volts all the way up to 270 volts and 45 hertz all the way up to 75 to 90 hertz, which means you can plug it in virtually anywhere in the world and it will charge the batteries. This one here is for basically US power, US type power only. We have controls for the air conditioning. This one is for the porthole and this one is for the Salon. Our other air conditioning control is down in the master hull. This TV is on a swingable arm, so we can lay it flat if we want to. You can see back here, this is our Starlink hub right here. We've also added an extra AC outlet back there, some USB outlets and other things, and that's where I have some of the communication, Wi-Fi and that sort of thing plugs in there. Of course, we've got a great working fan. Oh, the lights in the ceiling have all been converted to LED, so they use very little electricity. And you see that we have a really great visibility within the salon. One of the things we really like about it is the windows really allow us to sit here and look out and see all around us. And we spend a lot of time here in the settee in the salon, along with being out in the cockpit, the two main living areas. Okay, back to this area. Here, of course, is down the stairs to the porthole, which has an aft guest berth and a forward guest berth, with each having ensuite heads. Then we've got storage under here, under here, under here. Underneath here is a mix of the Salon air conditioning unit and some electronics. This is mostly electronics. This is storage here. And then we've got storage underneath here and under here as well. The settee table is in its up position right now. It also can move down here and be converted to a sleeping berth big enough for two people, or we've got a smaller version of this table that can be used as a coffee table. Very convenient if you're entertaining people in a coffee party type of thing. We also have put clear plastic on top of this. We really like this because I'm a big fan of charts, and so is Peggy, and we really like to have the chart of where we currently are always visible here, and we can put it here and still eat here and put other things on it, and it's just a nice addition that we like. Also, I've added additional outlets. I mentioned one behind the television. There's another outlet over there with two USB ports in it, another AC outlet over here, and I added USB ports on this outlet as well. Okay, let's talk some about the nav table now. So the nav table has our Victron color control that is our visibility into what's going on with our systems. We also have our battery monitor right here. This also can be converted to where we can look at, for instance, it says right now we have 44% in the central water tank and 50% in the starboard water tank. We also have another water tank in the porthole, but that's not monitored. It's also what's going on with solar and so forth. Then the BNG chart plotter, of course, it's a touch-sensitive chart plotter. And this is our BNG radio. It's our radio. Excuse me. It's our radio and our AIS combined. And this is our Fusion stereo. We have stereo speakers in two different zones. One zone, we have 4 speakers here in the salon, and then we have more speakers out in the cockpit, so we can run them both at the same time, or just one zone if we want. Another really nice feature is these hatches. Of course, they open up, but there's a blackout screen that we can pull across, and there's a bug screen that pulls across from the other side. So we've got the versatility to do that either way, and then of course opening them up for great ventilation flow through.
CALISTA's Galley. She is spacious and easy to get around. We have a double sink. We have a little cubby that we added for soap dispensers and such. We have a third sink, which we use actually for dish drainage. But it could be used as a sink or even extra storage. 3-burner stove and oven, both propane. We made a couple of modifications here. This used to be your standard pull down front, and then you would reach in as far as you could to get what was ever stored in there. We turned this into an actual drawer, which has really improved our storage capability. There were 4 very rudimentary drawers here with a standard cupboard door in front of them. We have converted those into high-end drawers, normal or average depth for the 3, and then a deeper one for the bottom. Lots of overhead storage for our everyday dishes, just the 2 of us, and then cups and mugs. More storage. The unique thing about this particular storage is that this cupboard is that there's another door accessing the same space, which makes it really convenient if there are other people helping to set the table or do what have you. In addition to the countertop height, we have a bar height countertop, which is really nice for visiting while someone is cooking or maybe setting things up to take outside. And it also comes with this extension you can put away when you're under passage and want to close up, or you can have it out for large gatherings. The refrigerator and freezer are separate from the main galley. Again, a nice feature when you have a number of people accessing the various elements of putting a meal together. The refrigerator and freezer have additionally, something we added was internal fans and temperature gauges so that we could increase circulation and improve temperature control. Speaking of temperature control, we added gauges to the side here so that it's easy to make adjustments as needed. CALISTA's owner suite. This was the real selling point for us. Very spacious, very private. The berth is your standard double berth. We have a foam topper. Fan, we added a second fan, which really helps on the really warm nights. Storage above, storage on either side, brow lights on either side. There's a fuel tank in the aft portion, but lots of storage forward of that. Additionally, storage here to shelving, and this bottom shelf is very, very deep. So clothing storage just keeps going. The first one is a small hanging cabinet. We have a large hanging cabinet here and large shelving here. This is often in Leopard 46 as a couch, and we looked specifically for this and very, very happy to have this. Plenty of storage. Additional shelving here and open shelving here. We have upgraded all of the AC outlets and actually added a couple to include USB. There's one here. There's one near the printer. There's one at the utility desk. I'll show you in a little bit. And but coming back here, I just want to point out this is our AC control for the AC that does just this cabin, which is really nice. When we're by ourselves, we only have to cool one area on the rare occasion that we have needed air conditioning. We do have several portholes that open, two in the cabin itself and another one in the head, and one behind the berth. Of course, the hatches as well. We have one over the bed, a large one, two small ones over the central area, and a large one over the head. So here I am at what I claimed is my vanity, but it could easily be a workspace, a work desk, that sort of thing. But because it is my vanity, I have this open. I've got a high concentration mirror there and my goodies, nice, lots of space there for that. An open bookshelf and two bookshelves behind the doors, whatever you like in there. It's a library. And I've also got this swivel chair that very nicely tucks away when you're finished. Outlets. There's more hanging storage here. We use this really as a utility cabinet. In fact, in the corner here we have our CO2 tank, which is hard plumbed to our soda stream, which is a favorite with ourselves, but also with our guests as they come around. They love that we have that. and want to see if they can duplicate it. One more bit of storage. I actually use this as an extension of a galley. I need some place to put all my pastas and lentils and such, so that's very convenient. Underneath, the bilge is very dry and clean, and it's clean enough that I have quite a bit of food storage there. Master head. This amazes everyone. It is so large. The shower in particular. Separate shower, room for two, detachable, adjustable shower wand. As I said, we have an open porthole as well as hatch, openable. All of the hatches have those bug screens and blackout screens we talked about. Standard sink. We added a fan, very helpful when it's hot and humid, and lots of storage behind the mirror above the sink. There's a full-length mirror behind the door. Okay, and the last thing I want to show you, this was such a bonus. I was so happy that Pat was willing to do this. We have added a washing machine. It's actually a washer dryer. We don't use the dryer function hardly at all because it's inefficient, uses a lot of electricity. The sun does a great job, but the washer is just a must-have. Lots of storage above and below for all my chemicals and soaps and such. So that was okay, that little dance we did?
Yeah, I think so.
Get down the stairs to the port aft berth. Over here we have the ensuite head. The ensuite head for the port aft berth has a separate shower with a detachable, adjustable wand, and the door can close to keep everything dry. The head has a medicine cabinet that opens, some storage behind. The sink, of course, has both hot and cold water. There is a AC outlet for shavers and such things, and the towel rack storage above. There is a porthole and a hatch for plenty of ventilation. The head is a Jabsco all-electric head, electric pump and macerator. Paper roll can be closed off if there's concerns about it getting wet.
CALISTA's port aft berth. This is our main guest berth, and I'll tell you what, it gets a wow every time we have guests. It is so spacious and there is so much storage. We have a fan on the ceiling there that we've installed. 2 hatches, a large window. We have reading lamps on the other side of the pillows. There's a little bit of flat storage on either side of the pillow, and this bonus storage over here on the long side. All along here is storage. Under the bed, we have one of the fuel tanks, but about 2/3 of this space is open storage. In front of, but still underneath the bed is two large shelves. The lower shelf goes another 8 or 10 inches, so it's just tremendous storage capacity here. We upgraded this outlet here with USB ports. Everyone seems to need those these days, and we take full advantage. We have hanging storage for our guests. Behind the door, we have some more shelving that we reserve for our guests. And behind the door, a full-length mirror.
Okay, let's look at the port forward berth. In many ways, this is very similar to the port aft berth. It's mattress zones only slightly smaller, so it's a full 2-person berth. I use this mostly, we have had guests here, but we use this mostly for my tool room. I have quite a few tools right in here. I also keep lots of tools and spare parts, electrical and that sort of thing, nuts and bolts, tape, kind of thing in here. This can be a hanging locker for guests that are staying here. We use it for Fowlies. We hang our life vests when we're not using them. I have electrical cords and some other things in here. There's air conditioning here, just like there is to the other one. Here's the vent for it is right here. It can be closed off if you want. Light switch is right here. Inside this, underneath this berth, we have one water tank. This is also where I've installed the CruiseRO 30 gallon per hour water maker. It's there. I'll show you the controls a little bit later there in the head that's attached to this. You already saw the four-peak locker, which is up here. We've removed the mattress for right now. And I do keep a tablecloth on this just to protect the mattress so that, if I put down a rusty tool or something like that, it doesn't stain the mattress. We have fans here, an opening hatch with, of course, the blackout and the screens. There are two reading lamps up here, each separately controlled with its own switch, and lighting from here. And this is just another set of shelves that, of course, guests can use, or I just use it. This is rigging stuff and other things that I use frequently, frequently used things. And sometimes we also put a little bit of potatoes or onions or other sorts of things right here if we're on a long passage and need a little bit of extra storage. And that's it for the forward port berth. This is the head that is attached to the port forward berth. As you can see, we sometimes use it to put our hang our wet things like our wetsuits, and if we have Fowlies that are wet, that sort of thing. This is also where I have the controls for the water maker. So I've mounted them here, and it works quite well. It's quite close to the water maker itself, which is in the berth right in front of us. And of course, it's all electric head, just like the other one before, and sink as well. Okay, today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, bilges. I'm only halfway joking here because I think I'm proud of my bilges and how clean and dry they are. So this is the bilge underneath the port forward berth. Take a look at it. So here we are a little closer in. They're all nicely marked. This is the generator raw water out. This is the Salon air conditioning in. This is the port hull air conditioning in. This is the raw water generator in. And this is the in for the toilets. It's all nice and clean there, no problems. Okay, here we are moving a little further forward in the port forward berth. This is a little bit more of the bilge. What you see in there right now is a large 4,000 gallon per hour pump that is on a 4-meter hose that I can move anywhere that is necessary. I also have a long electrical cord that I can plug into any number of 12-volt outlets here that'll power that, and then drop the pump into any bilge that may have water in it, and put the hose out a hatch or out a port, and it'll take care of things quite quickly. The through hole you see there is for the water maker. And then that green pipe down there is what sends the water from some of its boost pumps to the water maker itself that is just forward of this. Okay, moving a little more aft. This is in the walkway between the port aft berth and the port forward berth. And here we have, from right to left, the seawater strainer for the port air conditioner, seawater strainer for the Salon air conditioner, and the seawater strainer for the generator. Continuing to move aft, so this is the landing at the bottom of the stairway as you come down from the Salon, between the port aft berth and the port forward booth. And down here we have some of the water maker tubing right here, a water maker boost pump. And then we have pumps for the heads here, and we have again more of the water maker. This is a flush, a carbon filter for the flush, and more of the flush
tubing. And then here we have the air conditioning unit for the port hull. Continuing to move aft, this is the filters and the pumps for the 2 shower sump pumps. Okay, filming more of the bilges. We are now in the entryway to the port aft berth, and what we see here is the bilge float switch and the pump that goes with it. This is the drain for the head holding tank, and just an electrical box with some of the fittings in it. And then back here is just some extra space. Okay, looking at the final part of the port bilge. This is right in front of the aft berth, and nice and clean. You see those 2 things there. That's a manual pump, should we ever need it, and those are 2 gallon jugs of solution that you run through the coils of your air conditioning or your engine coolant system. It's descaling sorts of chemicals, which I use occasionally to keep the cooling systems working well. And there you have it for the bilges on the port side. Okay, let's look at the port engine. Okay, there's a nice fiberglass step here to help with access. Makes it a lot easier to get at things. Okay, so it's a Yanmar 4-cylinder, and all the standard stuff. Nice clean bilge, as you can see. Way down in here, there's a float pump, a float switch for the bilge pump that's over here. This is the exhaust system here, and the exhaust pipe goes up and over and out this way. The fuel comes in from the fuel tank that's on the other side of this bulkhead that is in the underneath the port aft berth. And then this is, of course, the fuel filter, the Raycor fuel filter, water filter, and start battery. In here we have some electronics, including a Victron Orion system, which is how the excess charge after the start battery is charged, the excess charge gets into the house battery that way. Let me grab the camera and show you underneath. Okay, and here is where I keep filters, belts. The cylinder you see on the right, that's a pump for pulling, it's a suction pump for pulling the oil out when I'm doing an oil change, and there's a nice fuel filter in there as well. And here we're going to start it. So as you can see, it starts up real nice and clean and no problems at all. All right, good. Okay, and here's the starboard engine. I'm starting out with the step already out of it. You already know what that looks like from looking at the one on the other side. So, again, nice clean bilge down here with, again, the float switch and the bilge pump there. Again, the electronics, including the Orion that feeds the charge to the house batteries after this battery is fully charged. And again, a 4-cylinder Yanmar. Both of these engines right now have about 1,530 hours on them. And then we take the camera and I'll show you front here. That's mostly fluids, antifreeze, extra oil in there, and then fuel filters and oil filters. And that's the starboard engine. Ready. Okay, as you can see, starboard engine starts up just fine. Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap for CALISTA, so if you would like more information, please get in touch. My WhatsApp number will come up on the screen in a second. You can also contact us at info@nautilusyachtmanagement.com or visit our website at nautilusyachtmanagement.com. Thanks for watching.